Hello everyone, welcome to Brilliant Public School online edu classes. Today we are going to learn chapter number 3, Ruling the Countryside part 4 of class 8 history. The learning outcome of this chapter are as follows. In this, the student will be able to learn about Indigo Rebellions and they will sensitize with the condition of peasants forced to cultivate indigo. System of indigo production. There were two main systems of indigo cultivation, niche and Riot. Within the system of niche cultivation, the planters produced indigo in lands that he directly controlled. He either bought the land or rented it from other zamindars and produced indigo by directly employing hired laborers. But there were a lot of problems. Okay, so they went up with Riot cultivation. Riot cultivation basically was a contract based cultivation system wherein the peasants they were forced to sign a contract. Again, there was a lot of problems in Riot cultivation also. So let us discuss step by step. Problems under niche cultivation. The planters found it difficult to expand the area under niche cultivation. Indigo could be cultivated only on fertile land and they were already densely populated. Planters need areas in compact blocks to cultivate indigo in plantation. A large plantation required a vast number of hands to operate and laborers was needed precisely at a time when peasants were actually busy with their rice cultivation. Indigo on the lands of riots. Riots, they were forced by the planters to sign a contract, which also mean as satta. At time, village headmen signed the agreement on behalf of the riots. Cash was provided to the riots at low interest rate to grow, but the loan committed the riot to cultivate indigo on at least 25% of the most fertile land of the area under his holding. So there were two things. First, either the seed and drills were being given to the planters and to the cultivators, the farmers, farming and harvesting was being done by the cultivators. So there were Riot planters and Riot cultivators. Problems for Riot cultivation. The cycle of loan proved to be detrimental for peasants. As the peasants, they were not able to repay the loan amount. Peasants who were initially tempted by the loan soon realized how harsh the system was. The price they got for the indigo they produced was very low and the cycle of loan never ended. So earlier they felt that it was a flare given to them, but then later on they realized it was such a big mistake because they fall in a cycle of indebtedness. Many a times they fought for their land because in an urge to pay the loan amount, many people they used to keep their land with the zamindars and then their land was lost because they could not pay the rent or they could not pay the loan amount. The planters usually insisted that indigo be cultivated on the best soil preferred to cultivate rice. Because of this, what happens? The fertility of soil was lost because indigo can only be cultivated in the most fertile soil and indigo absorbs the entire fertility of the soil. Indigo moreover had deep roots and it exhausted the soil rapidly and then it is not suitable to sow any other crop, which brought the Blue Rebellion. And after, so let us know about the rebellion. Blue Rebellion. Blue Rebellion basically means indigo rebellions or the people those who were forced, those who were not happy with the indigo cultivation, they rebelled against the British government. In March 1859, Bengal riots, they refused to grow indigo. They refused to pay the rents to the planters. They attacked indigo factories armed with swords, spears and bows and arrows. Those who worked for planters were socially boycotted. Gomasthas were being set up. Gomasthas basically who came to collect rent were beaten up. not to sow indigo, nor to be bullied by the planters. Latials were there. The Blue Rebellion and after. Reason for the rebellion. It was an oppressive system wherein peasants they fell into a cycle of indebtedness and which made people more and more poor. The Indigo Riots felt that they had support of local zamindars and village headmen. Village headmen and zamindars urged the riot to resist the planters. They were unhappy with the increasing power of the planters. The Indigo peasants also imagined that the British government would support them. British government was already worried that if at all they will not support or they will not subside this revolt or rebel, then they can definitely face the same effect as of revolt of 1857. There was possibility of another popular rebellion. Wrong interpretation of Magistrate Ashley Eden's notice. Ashley Eden, he was the magistrate that time. He misinterpreted. He issued a notice stating that riots would not be compelled to accept indigo contracts. But his action was read as a support for the rebellion. Army was being called. Indigo Commission was set up. The outcomes of Indigo Rebellion. First, the setup of Indigo Commission. An Indigo Commission was set up to look into the matters. They concluded the following. First, planters were found guilty. Planters were forcing riots to enter into the contract for their own benefit. Indigo cultivation was not profitable for riots. Riots were asked to fulfill the existing contract, but they got the right to refuse indigo cultivation in future. But it became difficult for them to fulfill the present contract. After the revolt, the production of indigo came to an end in Bengal and it shifted in Bihar. With this, we end our chapter. Happy learning, everyone.